it's an advantage to their political, particular agenda. We're the only, Laura, multiracial, multi-ethnic country that's worked since Rome. And it's based on assimilation, integration, intermarriage. That only can happen when immigration, legal immigration is measured and it's diverse and it's meritocratic, so people are immediately immersed with people who speak English from different ethnic backgrounds and they assimilate. And the Democrats used to believe that. And as you know, they passed border security measures in the 2000s all the time. But I think what's happened is, don't you think they've discovered that their agenda doesn't win 51% of the electorate anymore?
Bingo!
But radical demographic changes, and here in California, 1 out of every 4 residents was not born in the United States. It tends to make a predictable voter profile, especially when people come in such numbers and they're not diverse south of the border and they vote in predictable.
Yeah, it swamps the system because we don't have a public school system like it was 50 years ago, frankly, where people learned about the greatness of America, didn't debate about whether the pledge was racist. So it's a very different situation with the way kids are educated today, which leads to lots of problems. But Victor, I want to stay on this political issue for a moment. Let's look at the map. I think we have a graphic of California's Orange County, because this was Reagan country. This was classic conservative America. Put the graphic up, please. 2016, you see what the vote looked like. And by 2018, well, the GOP got wiped out. It is blue. You saw a few little blue, areas, districts, but now it's all blue. And that's happened across California, at least along the coast, Victor, which, again, it was all Reagan country. It was Pete Wilson, Reagan, and fairly moderate Democrats. And now it's a super Democrat majority and people still fleeing the state.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you have 10 million of California's 40 million residents who weren't born in the United States, and they're told by the host, us, that we don't have confidence in the melting pot, we prefer the salad bowl. Then they self-identify by their ethnic, rubric rather than the content of their character. It's very strange because if we get down to the essence of all this, it was Barack Obama basically who redefined affirmative action, which really was designed for 12% of the population who had suffered historic discrimination under slavery, Jim Crow, and segregation, into diversity, which meant class didn't matter, prior record of exploitation didn't matter, ongoing bias didn't matter. All you had to be was non-white, and that expanded that pool to 100 million Americans. 1/3 of the country all of a sudden said, I'm part of a minority and I'm going to vote accordingly.
Yeah, but
really
Victor also,
it
was smart. It was smart of the Democrats. It was cynical but smart in the end demographically. You had 100,000 voter margin in Florida. Texas, Beto came close to beating Ted Cruz. If it weren't for Trump's visits, Ted Cruz probably would have lost in Texas. Sorry, I don't want to hear that. It's the truth. Okay, so you got Texas, you got Florida. They pick off one of those states. Victor, what happens to the Republicans?
Yeah, well, they're in trouble because under the old paradigm, if your name was Giuliani or Pelosi or Cuomo or Pataki, eventually it didn't matter because you were going to assimilate, integrate, and intermarry, and being Italian couldn't predict what your political allegiance would be because immigration was not, continually, it wasn't. And the Democrats got smart and thought, open borders is a way to flip red states blue, and they did it with California, New Mexico, Colorado.
But Victor, they're doing it with legal.
It's also within a state.
We're doing it with legal immigration.
Legal and illegal.
Yeah, soon illegal. But people have to understand this. We give 1.2 million green cards out every year, and every time this is up for a poll, and Gallup polls this, people either want legal immigration reduced or they want it to stay the same. They do not want a glut of people coming in to keep wages stagnant. They want rising wages in the country, which is what the business community sadly doesn't want. Victor, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And coming up, the lawyers for the Covington Catholic student Nick Sandmann have just filed a massive